Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronia, and in today's video, I want to talk about what you should be doing if you always feel broke. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I actually came across an article recently, and they basically mentioned that a survey was conducted and they found that 1/3 of Americans making $250,000 live paycheck to paycheck. And they found that cash is especially tight for top earners of the millennial cohort, and very few reported issues covering all their household expenses. Now, although you may not be earning over $250,000 a year, I still think this video is going to be useful because many people who do still earn a decent wage are still living paycheck to paycheck. So what I want to do is uncover things in this video that you may not have thought about that might be keeping you broke right now. So the first reason why you might always be feeling broke and maybe you're not able to reach your financial goals is because you may be consuming way too many liabilities. Now, if you're completely new to the personal finance or money management space, you may not know what a liability is. So of course, Auntie V is going to break it down. Okay, so basically when it comes to liabilities, they're things that will probably take money out of your pocket. So these glasses that I purchased using my credit card debt, yeah, liability. This dress I got using buy now, pay later, where I haven't even paid them back for months, yeah, liability. This new BMW that I got on finance, yeah, you guessed it. Now, I'm definitely not saying that there's anything wrong with buying a pair of sunglasses or purchasing a car, but the problem is the way you go about it. So many of us are using debt to finance our lifestyles, which means that we're using money that isn't ours, and therefore you are accumulating a lot more liabilities. And it even says it in this article. So what they found was that more than 1/5 of high income earners had revolving credit card debt. Plus, they also found that 1 in 9 respondents said that they wouldn't be able to cover a $400 emergency expense, which is maybe about £300, by any means, including credit cards, borrowing from family or friends, or by selling an asset. And so if you're consuming all of these liabilities, number one, it's going to be really difficult to not feel broke because you're always going to be making payments. And number two, those liabilities are more likely to be expensive as well. Take credit cards, for example. Many interest rates on credit cards are probably at least 15%. And with many credit cards, their interest rate is a lot higher. Now, if you are currently in debt and you've decided that you do really want to pay it off, I do have videos talking through not only my own debt journey and how I was able to pay off debt, but I also give you some tips and insights into how you can pay off your debt even faster. So make sure you do check those out if you haven't already. I will link one up here for you and in the description below. But in summary, if you feel like you're always broke, it might be a good idea to check how many liabilities you actually have. And if you're liking this video so far, then feel free to give me a thumbs up, as it really does help to support this channel. Plus, I'm sure you know, it's free. Now, the next reason why you might always be feeling broke and maybe you're not able to reach your financial goals is because of the fact that you might not be focusing on building assets. Now, if you've heard of the term liabilities before, you've probably heard of the term assets. And I like to take Robert Kiyosaki's definition of assets, which basically means that assets put money in your pocket, whereas liabilities take money out of your pocket. Now, you first might be a bit confused and wondering why you need to be focusing on assets to stop feeling broke. Well, I'm going to answer that exact question. So when I'm talking about different assets, it could be as simple as having cash. So rather than using credit card debt to finance your lifestyle and pay for things, you could just pay for things in cash. And yes, I know in this society, that's probably a bit weird. But taking it a step further over time, what you could learn to do is actually invest in assets that will start to bring you an income, which you can then use to again pay for your lifestyle. So for example, this could be investing in the stock market, real estate, or maybe even your own business. By you actually taking the time to invest into these assets, what it will eventually do is help you to build on another stream of income, which you can then use to spend on anything you like. And at the end, even after you've used the money, you're probably going to have something that's going to be considered valuable, which personally I think is a lot better than holding liabilities like credit card debt. Now, if you do want to learn more about how you can actually get the cash in the first place by saving up money to pay for things, as well as growing your money through investing in different assets, I do have a free money management guide that really talks about the 6 steps that you can take to not only stop feeling broke, but will also help you to start working towards things like financial independence and security and all of that great stuff. So make sure you do check that out if you haven't already. I'll make sure I leave a link up here for you and in the description below. Now, the third reason why you might still be feeling broke and not being able to reach your financial goals is because you might be too afraid to look at your numbers. Now, what I mean by this is you might be in denial denial of your financial situation. And because you haven't really looked at your finances, you may end up always feeling broke because your money is just going everywhere and you don't really know where it's going in the first place. Now, I will definitely say that I can resonate with this because before I started working on my personal finances, I had no idea what my numbers were saying. So I had no idea where everything was going. I had no idea how much debt I had. It was all just a bit of a mess, to be honest. However, when I finally decided to look at my numbers, it was really the kick in the backside that I needed to start working on my finances. So for example, in my case, I actually did my first ever net worth statement. And what I did was that I had to list all of the liabilities I had. So basically how much debt I had versus all of the assets that I had. So for example, savings or investments. And so when I did that net worth statement and finally saw the number, I was shocked because I was not expecting to see so many liabilities but no assets. The same thing happens with knowing your numbers when it comes to your own expenses. So for example, when I'm coaching women on their finances, one of the first things I get them to do is review their expenses over the 3 months. So I literally make them list line by line exactly what they have spent. And it's not to shame them or to shame how they've spent the money, but it really gives them a clear picture on what they feel like they might want to improve. And for a lot of them, they end up feeling really shocked because they have no idea that they've spent so much money on something that they don't really care about. And so what happens is because they know how much they're spending now, they can start to improve on it and they can start to make changes. Likewise, when I finally did my net worth statement, although it was shocking to see so many liabilities, it was almost the kick in the backside that I needed to really start focusing on my finances. And because I saw those numbers, I was determined to get rid of my liabilities and build as many assets as possible. And so what I ended up doing is actually paying off my debt in about 18 months. And it all started with knowing my numbers. Now, the next reason why you might always be feeling broke is based on the fact that you may have already accepted defeat. Now, especially when it comes to the millennial generation, you do tend to hear a lot of stories about us when it comes to our finances. You could be hearing stories about how broke we are, the fact that we have to stay longer living in our parents' house because we can't afford anything, the fact that we're probably going to struggle to build wealth, and also because we've had to deal with things like high unemployment due to recessions and things like that. And so when you start to hear that millennials are basically screwed, you may start to get demotivated because it's not nice hearing that so many people, especially of our generation, are really struggling. Now, whilst that may be the case, I definitely think we should not be giving up and accepting defeat, because if you do accept defeat, what's going to happen is you're going to say to yourself that I can't build wealth and I can't achieve anything financially. And so what you may end up doing is rather than actually trying to build that wealth, you will then just use the money to consume even more liabilities. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with spending money, but what you have to ask yourself is, are you spending money on the right things? And even if things are maybe a bit more difficult for us and it may be a little bit difficult to build wealth, do you want to take the chance to still really work on yourself and build wealth whilst you can, or do you want to just give up and spend everything? Now, let me clarify, it's not going to be easy, far from it. However, I don't think it's impossible. Now, if you've decided that you no longer want to be feeling broke and you really want to take the time to start working on your finances, but you might need some support with that, then definitely check out my one-on-one coaching, because I've been able to help women go from feeling broke to actually feeling like they can save and invest for their future. If you are interested, you can of course book a free sales call with me. I'll link more information up here for you and in the description below. So if you did like this video, then please do give me a thumbs up if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments, have you been feeling broke recently? I do post every Tuesday, so if you would like to know more, then of course you can subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next Tuesday.